This is Dr. Eric Fishman with EHR TV, and we have the pleasure of speaking with Stephen Howe, CEO and co-founder of Shareable Inc. Steve, thank you for taking some time today at HIMSS 2012.
Thanks for making time for me.
You've had a long history of being in health IT, including having founded a major player in this industry, Patient Keeper. So let's go very briefly through that and then how that brought you to Shareable Inc.
Sure, well that's right. So I've been in healthcare IT for probably my entire career. I actually dropped out of a graduate program and started a company called Patient Keeper many years ago. And that was just a great experience about learning about physicians, their technology needs, and the challenges and opportunities of bringing healthcare IT into the marketplace. And to your point, I left 3 years ago to start Shareable Inc. with some strong opinions about technology and healthcare.
How did you come up with the idea of Shareable Inc.?
Well, you know, I partnered up with a friend of mine, Dr. Vernon Huang, who's an anesthesiologist, and he also worked at Patient Keeper at the early years. He actually has a background, was a medical director at Apple Computers for a little while. And you know, I think he came at it from a physician's perspective, and I came from more of a technologist perspective of trying to get technology in the hands of physicians. And we got very excited about the prospect of creating natural input tools to make it very easy for physicians to document. Basically, we're making two bets. We believe the industry has to become more electronic. I mean, if you just look around the trade show floor, I think everyone agrees with that. But we had a second bet, which is we thought without new innovative tools, that transition was going to be difficult because productivity is so key in this industry.
And physicians have been handwriting forever, and we'll talk about anesthesia in just a moment, but tell us about some of the other markets that you're evolving into at this point in time.
Well, we have a enterprise cloud technology which is very flexible. At the heart of what we do, we take natural input from physicians. They can write using digital pens, which is a pen with a camera. They can input using an iPad. We even take scanned images. And we're able to convert the natural input into codified structured data. That's generally applicable across healthcare. We started in anesthesia and have been very successful there. Now, more recently, we moved into emergency departments. That's an area where the physician has to be highly productive. Any sort of delay is just not acceptable in that environment. So that's been an area where we've been very successful. We've done quite well in physician practices. Again, that's an area where productivity is very important. EMRs are making great progress there. Docs love to go to the EMR to retrieve information.
And they hate clicking.
But they sure hate clicking the keyboard, and all the drop-down lists can, again, make a productivity hit with physicians.
And physicians are not known as having great handwriting. What type of accuracy do you get in interpreting the scrawl that I and some of my colleagues have?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Our handwriting recognition is very robust, and we apply a lot of interesting tricks of the trade. The fact that much of our documentation is done in forms gives us contextual clues that give us an edge in getting the handwriting recognition correct. But beyond that, we process a page of medical documentation every 30 seconds of the day, and our activity is doubling every 2 to 4 months. And the result of that, we have a ton of data, so we can almost predict what the physician is going to write in certain circumstances, and that gives us a huge advantage in handwriting recognition.
As you may know, I've been in the speech recognition business for quite some time, and there is a learning curve, and if a physician, or now a correctionist, corrects a misrecognition, it improves the accuracy in the future. Does Shareable Inc. have the same type of technology that either for the individual user or for everybody on the cloud, that if corrections are made, that there becomes a generalized improvement in the accuracy?
That's absolutely right. So our approach involves allowing the physician to use the system right out of the box. You don't have to train the system. The system gets smarter as you use it. And it's kind of leveraging the power of the cloud. Very much like Siri is really nuance, which is it's a common voice-to-text technology. But once it's all plugged in the cloud, you get the benefit of learning what that physician does, as well as what other physicians, what his cohorts are doing, and that gives us a huge advantage in our recognition capabilities.
It's interesting stuff. Steve, I hope I'll be able to speak with you next year at HIMSS. What do you expect to happen to Shareable Inc. in the 1-year interval between now and then?
Well, we're having a great kind of growth experience right now. The year that we just ended was huge for the company. We won a lot of customers, which is great because in addition to, we want the software to be used. It's a lot of fun creating benefits out there in the field and making customers successful. But also as a byproduct of that, we're getting just a ton of feedback with great ideas for future products and so forth. So not only is our sales pipeline very robust, our product pipeline is very, very robust as well.
Are you interested in giving us one example of what you expect to show up functionality-wise in the next 12 months?
Well, one thing we're unveiling at the show today is Shareable Ink for iPads. So we've been very excited about the emergence of tablets, especially the iPad device. It's great to see physicians adopting a certain technology. iPads, generally they're great viewing tools, not the best input tools typically. So we've taken a very different take on the iPad. We actually put the paper on the iPad. So we give physicians two modes: a guided view where they kind of enter a smart form, but also the ability to write in freestyle mode. It's essentially a paper facsimile on the iPad, and it's really neat because it's really, really fast. And again, we're very sensitive to physician productivity. It's about keeping that physician able to document just as quickly as possible, and we think we have a really neat offering on the iPad.
It's wonderful having people like you in this industry who are, quick thinkers and moving forward. And
We've
got
a great team that's working very hard, and we're really excited about what we're doing.
Steve, I thank you very much, and appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
This is Dr. Eric Fishman speaking with Steve Howe, CEO and co-founder of Shareable Ink. Thank you.